Hello, dear friends. The feather symbol is the emblem of a professional journalist. Opinion piece. Angel's feather. Láthyro. Presentation. Lathyrus Angulatus. Symbol of journalism. Life is full of surprises. Angelic communication. Last stop before heaven. Transition period 2024-2032. Fake news, proof of intelligence. The technology we use is obsolete. The state of humanity is ignorance. Era of solidarity, harmony, and unity. Cracks are opening up in magnetosphere. Connection between spiritual and material worlds. Let's start. Angel's Feather is the name of my new YouTube channel that I have prepared for after the event, and Láthyro is my spiritual name, while Miskiliusuria is a pseudonym, a name or alias used by a journalist in his activities, instead of its own. Láthyro is a generic name derived from Greek referring to an ancient name for the pea, Lathyrus Angulatus, or Angel's feather. In popular culture, peas have been linked to longevity and prosperity. For example, in dream interpretation, crunchy green peas are considered a symbol of a long and prosperous life. Peas allowed Mendel to establish the foundations of modern genetics by observing how certain traits are transmitted from one generation to another. Therefore, the symbolism of the pea ranges from meanings related to life and prosperity to its importance in scientific advancement in the field of genetics. Precisely, my cosmic being is a geneticist of light. Symbolism. The symbol of the feather is the emblem of the professional journalist that represents writing and the practice of journalism. The feather is a traditional icon that symbolizes freedom of expression and the ability to inform, fundamental elements in journalistic work. This symbol is associated with the idea that journalists should be the bearers of truth and information, using the pen as a tool to capture their stories and analysis. In broader context, the pen can also symbolize the union between intellectual work and social commitment, reflecting the responsibility of journalists to inform and educate the public on relevant issues. The symbolism of the angel feather is related to the communicating presence of angels on Earth. Angel feathers are considered to be a symbolic representation of the connection between spiritual world and the material world, acting as a means of communication between angels and human beings. Feathers found in unexpected places have spiritual meaning, and from this perspective, they are a sign that angels are in your life. The energy of these divine beings is so pure and fine that we could not easily perceive it. For this reason, they use subtle messages to let us know of their presence. A white feather means purity, and a gray feather means spiritual peace. Communication. Angelic communication refers to the spiritual belief or practice in which one seeks to establish contact with or receive messages from angels, beings considered divine messengers in various spiritual traditions. This communication can take different forms depending on the individual beliefs and spiritual practices of the humans involved. Communication with angels can be achieved through practices such as meditation, dreams, inner listening, observing visual cues, conscious invocations, and following intuition and inner feelings. Clues, I mean. Angels can communicate through an inner voice that may have a tone similar to one's own. They can also communicate through inner thoughts or feelings. They can even wake you up in the morning with a tap on your shoulder. Being receptive to these intuitions can help interpret angelic messages. In various spiritual traditions, feathers have been associated with the symbolic representation of angels, being interpreted as signs of divine communication. Furthermore, the color combination of angel feathers is associated with different virtues and functions of the quirks of angels, allowing the discovered feather to be linked to specific aspects of such as love, divine will, serenity, protection, among others. Connection. Angel feathers are considered to be a symbolic representation of the connection between the spiritual world and the material world, acting as a channel of divine communication. Finding an angel feather is believed to be a sign that an angel is sending a message of encouragement, guidance, or protection at that specific time. Additionally, the color of the feather can have specific meanings, such as divine purity in the case of a person, or white feathers. A person find a white feathers. Spiritual peace in the case of grey feathers, or energetic protection in the case of black feathers. The expression of angel's feather can be used metaphorically to describe writing or prose that is particularly light, ethereal, or possesses heavenly beauty. For example, a poem might be said to be written with angel feather to highlight its grace and delicacy. This image is commonly associated with the lightness, softness, and delicacy of feathers, as well as the purity and heavenliness attributed to angels in various spiritual traditions. Transition. Transition period 2024 to 2032 by Judith Castle. Over the next 10 years, we will have to shed more layers of the old, but let us look for the miracle. By 2032, you will no longer recognize yourself, as you have transfigured into your higher spiritual self, and they will live with love and joy. But many important things will happen before 2032. According to Melchizedek, from now on, we are being elevated into a totally new paradigm and a new existence, where new life is fully present in a much higher dimensional state, and where everything is new and transcends everything we have known before in the old 3D. New inventions, cosmic technologies, heart-centered living, sacred living, love and relationships, and much more. Animals we thought were extinct will reappear. New species will emerge. New waters and new land masses will arise, and the pyramidal energy will return. New communities of light will emerge in crescendo, and new ways of holistic living, as one with the earth and all within, on and around it, as we return to the cosmic struggle and fully embrace our cosmic brothers and sisters, the era of solidarity, harmony, and unity. Messages. Life is full of surprises. Begin to see each one as another step towards your goal of reaching higher consciousness. Do not repress, deny, or ignore what comes your way. Accept it, embrace it, and let it all flow, says Geshe-Rash. You are divinely anchored in the heart, always. Allowing the mind to take over makes you feel different, and this lowers your frequency and you gradually drift away from your focus and attention on what is happening. By pausing thought the day and simply taking a few deep breaths, you will realign yourself with the heart center, remembering your purpose and origins, says Geshe-Rash. Think of fake news as an IQ test. The problem with social media is that you have no idea who is on the other end, on the other side. This won't be the first time we see very fake news repeated. No 800 numbers were not published last week in the last 4 years. Notre Dame Cathedral did not catch fire for the second time, and the Three Gorges Dam in China did not break. Almost. We're almost there according to Steve Biko. The entire world will know the truth of what is happening with this planet. By the end of 10 days of transmissions, I believe we will all have experienced an opening of the fourth heart chakra when a solar flare hits us. Then we will all know what transfiguring higher dimensional love is like. Last Stop Before Heaven by Steve Biko. The dark side wants a global party and the coalition is working to prevent it. The QFS is already in operation and will allow the tap to be turned off to any criminal activity. We will not see civil strife because our society is in the process of ascending. No, we will see a world party break out because the Universal Council responsible for our ascension has decreed that there will not be one. Our star family can neutralize nuclear weapons, either in the silo or in flight. Matthew explains, the Universal Councils would not approve of the slaughter of 90% of the population, and hold that reign of darkness on the planet has ended once and for all. Our ascension, being new, inclusive and demanding, involves a gradual increase in consciousness. We are moving from a state in which we are governed by agreed rules to another state in which we are governed by solidarity. Anything that is evil, cruel, and harmful cannot go with us. It can only exist in three-dimensional conditions. People who are in favor of controlling society will gradually find that the situation becomes more and more comfortable for them. It is difficult. More uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. It is difficult. They are out of breath. They have aches and pains. They are slowing down, and one day their end will come. We are experiencing the last hurrah of those who prefer darkness to light and hate to love. If we do not see clearly all that has happened, we have 10 days of broadcasts ahead of us that will make it abundantly clear. The forces of light are doing everything they can to make the evil visible to everyone, so that we can leave the darkness and hate behind and relax and expand into a new era. Yes, we will have much to do to restore the planet, but we will also have much to do to help ourselves. But beyond that material help, there is the joy of the new humanity. Love, bliss, ecstasy, peace, etc. There are no words to describe it. It is something otherworldly, sweet and comforting. Everything we will have always sought. Those who ascended on December 21st, 2012, asked us to wait a few more years, spread more information, and combine as many people as possible to join us on this new state of the journey. We are now working to make everyone aware of our situation and perhaps choose to come with us. This is the last stop before heaven. Opinions. X22 report. They are trying to overthrow Trump and take us to war. According to Liberty Lady, when it seems like people are really waking up, the Archons send us another savior to redirect our attention back to the Matrix. War is ugly, cruel, and violent. That is why it should be avoided. Josh Eden believes that war and violence should be avoided because the consequences of rushing into conflict would be death and destruction. It would involve tears, pain, and chaos. It is not glorious or heroic. Only simple caveman minds promote war as an option. Jesus is New Age according to charity. The entire premise of his message centers on morally good people graduating to a new earth to be enhanced by angels and gain superpowers. Mainstream Christianity, as founded by elites who ritualize their suffering, is neopaganism disguised as monotheism. According to Kavamur, to decipher scripture, we must understand how people who lived thousands of years ago viewed visitors from the stars. Fallen angels who deceived Earth were often called gods, while our soul family and true protectors of Earth were called angels. This was allowed to happen so that we could wake up and discern the light from the darkness ourselves. Curious. Earth has a temporary mini-moon for 2 months. It is a tiny 10-meter asteroid that orbits the Sun and will remain in orbit for 2 months. Cracks are opening in the magnetosphere. Researchers call it the Russell-McPherson effect. Solar wind flows through the cracks to fuel geomagnetic storms, even without the impact of a coronal mass ejection. The Russell-McPherson effect is a geophysical phenomenon that explains the semi-annual vibration in geomagnetic activity and the occurrence of auroras. It is based on the alignment between the Earth's magnetic field and the Sun's interplanetary magnetic field. During the equinoxes, the orientation of the Earth's magnetic field and that of the Sun align in a particular way that favors the formation of auroras. Technology. The technology we currently use is obsolete, according to Ashton Forbes. They discovered the manipulation of gravity using plasma decades ago. They have been incorporating science into spy planes for at least 60 years. Plasma sets allow for hypersonic flight. They soon realized that manipulating plasma in this way is also a mechanism for producing infinite energy. One they realized that the 1951 Invention Secrecy Act was essential to conceal it. Human pilots are problematic inside space-time manipulating ships. Their time spread string is altered, and their biology requires normal gravity and breathable atmosphere. Once our communication skills advanced, we will be able to communicate with each other, and drone warfare began. It was a perfect solution. This is another paragraph. It was the perfect solution to the pilot problem because no pilot was needed. You could just remote control a highly energetic plasma ball. It is amazing how easily this was hidden from the public. The default state of humanity is ignorance. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.